Welcome to our lockdown podcast for June. Gosh, how time flies, eh? Can you quite believe that it's June already, Laura? Let me introduce us. I'm Debbie, and I'm the floristry side of our duo.
And I'm Laura. I am the IT side of our flowery duo.
Thank you for joining us today. Laura and I are really missing our studio and the opportunity to share with you inspirational ideas and designs, aren't we, Laura?
We certainly are, Debbie. As we are unable to reach the studio due to the current lockdown, we thought we would continue our series of colour astrology in a slightly different format to normal. Now, just to remind you, colour astrology combines astrology with the metaphysical power of colour to tell us what your birthday colour says about you.
It's been quite amusing to see how accurate colour astrology has been for friends and colleagues.
It has indeed, hasn't it? Now, each month we have been focusing on 5 different areas of design, which are weddings, funerals, home decor, corporate designs, and those simple vase arrangements we have in our home. We create an arrangement from each category in the colour for that month.
Yeah, so along with our step-by-step guide, which includes an ingredients list for both the flowers and sundries you need, we also include 3 top tips. I usually explain these whilst describing the design. And new to this podcast, we're actually going to show you pictures of the various stages.
The colour for June is aspen gold. So what does your birth colour say about you? The colour is excellent for communication. It helps stimulate the brain, increasing intelligence and mental agility. Aspen gold is filled with radiance and light. It helps lift our spirits and bring sunshine into our lives. So very appropriate for the current time.
Yeah, indeed. If you're having trouble articulating your thoughts, wear something gold or place gold flowers in your room for inspiration. If you're writing something, for example a speech, tune into yellow. Are you a June baby? Do you lift people's spirits? Does this describe you? Let us know, just for fun, how accurate it is. We'd love to hear your thoughts.
So Debbie and I are going to take you step by step through each one of our designs, describing how each one is put together and everything you will need to create each arrangement yourself. You can also refer to the photographs, which will help aid your construction. So I don't know about you, Debbie, but let's get this show on the road. So grab a cup of coffee and enjoy.
Thanks, Laura. So the first design that we're going to discuss with you all is wedding inspired, exploring with words and a picture of each stage how to make a rustic styled loose arrangement of summer flowers in a milk churn.
That sounds really lovely, Debbie. As this is specifically selected for our wedding selection, where would this style arrangement be used?
You can make it in a large milk churn on a slightly grander scale and use it outside the church doors as a welcome, or use it in a similar way to a pedestal arrangement either side of the registrar's table, or just to decorate the wedding venue, really. It'd be perfect for a barn celebration or an outdoors event. And if you're going to make it on a smaller scale, it could be used as a table centre, or actually use it to enforce the bridal theme by decorating a welcome table, seating plan, or a present table even.
Small ones would work really lovely, staggered on a vintage ladder, say. The rustic style would also work really nice with crates, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it would actually be really lovely. In fact, you could use any rustic style container really. Baskets or upcycled items tend to work best. If you decide to use a milk churn and you're placing it outside, I'd probably recommend that you add weight to the inside of the base by adding something like house bricks, so it's not blown over by the wind.
That's a really good idea. You don't want to be chasing your arrangement down the road, especially when you put so much work into it. So, once you have your milk churn, what flowers and sundries do you need to use?
Okay, so if you select a milk churn that has a plastic liner, you'd only actually need wet foam and your floristry kit for sundries. If it's a large milk churn, you may want to include a plastic liner or a plastic dish to sit on the top to avoid using too much foam. And don't forget, not all galvanised containers are watertight.
That makes sense, Debbie. Before you talk about the flowers you're going to use, how could we make this arrangement more eco-friendly? We try to be as eco-friendly as we can, and sustainable floristry is so important.
Yeah, it is. You could use chicken wire instead of foam, and the plastic liner could easily be reused. I mentioned before about using upcycled containers, so actually this arrangement really fits the bill already.
Okay, so the best part, Debs, the flowers.
Our gold coloured varieties for this design are sunflowers, Eremurus, Solidago, Achillea Parker's variety, and we're also adding some blue delphiniums, some fresh poppy seed heads, some Ammi Majus Wagner.
Oh, I see you've included sunflowers, Debs. I know from previous experience that they do not like galvanized containers, so even more important to use a plastic liner. The blue delphiniums will give a fabulous contrast to the gold tones. Yellow and blue are opposites in the colour wheel, so complement each other perfectly. So how are we going to start?
Right, so start by securing the soaked wet foam into the plastic container with anchor tape and place it on top of the milk churn, making sure to place any bricks or heavy objects in the bottom first. That's if you need them.
So having conditioned flowers and laid them out on your workbench in individual variety groups, as we always do, what are we going to start with?
Well, I'm going to start by placing the taller varieties, which are the delphiniums and Eremurus, in sort of a fan shape really towards the back of the wet foam.
Now these flowers will give an overall finished dimension to the arrangement. So if you are making lots of the same design, would it be a good idea to use one almost as a prototype?
Yeah, that's a good question. It would be if you want them all to appear alike, especially if you're making two to sit either side of an entrance, for example. If you're aiming for a more random, unplanned appearance, it'd be fine for them all to look different, really.
So if we have help making them, no two people ever create the same arrangement, so random would work really well. What flowers are we using next, and where are we going to place them?
Next, I'm going to add the sunflowers as the dominant focal flower. So they need to be placed fairly central so that the blooms kind of catch your eye, really.
That really starts to bring the arrangement alive. It looks like the lower part of the arrangement is next. So what are we going to add?
Okay, so I'm going to use the solid aster and alchemilla to give some visual weight to the design, so it doesn't actually look too top heavy.
When do you use the Achillea?
Actually, it's the next item. The Achillea helps to reinforce the gold colour scheme by emphasising the sunflowers.
So that leaves us with the Ammi Majus and the poppy seed heads. Why have you particularly chosen these varieties for this design?
So the white Ammi Majus kind of softens the design, and the seed heads help to enforce the rustic style of it, giving almost a hedgerow appearance, really, I suppose.
Ah, that's a lovely idea. I can see that the gold tones inspire radiance and light, bringing sunshine into our lives. So this would be perfect way to capture the happiness of rustic June wedding for next year.
Yes, has to be next year now, sadly. Sadly, many brides have had to postpone their weddings, but it gives you more time to plan designs and practice techniques. So look on the positive.
Good point. Well, Debs, that draws our design to a close for the first podcast in our colour astrology series for June. So next up, we'll be focusing on a funeral design. What will we be creating?
Next, we're going to create a calla lily bonsai wreath using a ready-made wreath, as actually shown on our website.
So to everyone, thank you so much for listening to us today. We Look forward to sharing our next podcast with you and hope you can join us for that. So for now, it's goodbye from me.
And it's goodbye from me. Until the next time, stay safe and well. Bye.
Bye.